Good morning and welcome to Thursday Dialogues on Agroecology Schools. Today is Thursday, 26th January 2023. It's 10 a.m. Central European Time. This event is a part of the project Sharing Knowledge for a Stronger Agroecology Movement in Europe and Central Asia. It is hosted by Community of Practice on Agroecology in Europe and Central Asia, BILIM. Today we have a great delight to host a special guest, an organic farmer and activist who works tirelessly for the betterment of smallholder farmers. Elizabeth Mpofu, in addition to her farming work, has held various leadership positions since the 1990s. She is the former general coordinator of La Via Campesina, the international peasant movement, comprising some 180 local and national organizations in 85 countries. La Via Campesina has worked in defense of small-scale sustainable agriculture as a way to promote social justice and dignity. Elizabeth is also a former board member of the Alliance of the Food Sovereignty in Africa, representing La Via Campesina in Africa. She is the founding member and former chairperson of Zimbabwe Smallholder Organic Farmers Forum and former board member of Sustainable Farming Practices, and the majority of whose members are women. She's currently working with African rural women leaders to build a grassroots movement that advances rural women's rights across the continent. Elizabeth is also the co-founder of the African Women Collaborative for Healthy Food Systems, and her recent opinion column in the global magazine Farming Matters focused on issues of gender equality, women pastoralists, and traditional crops. She was featured in a series on food and seed sovereignty and is a regular speaker at events.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all to this important meeting. I know very well that this is my day and I should really try to make something good from it. So I'm happy to be one of the speakers during this important day where we are really focused more on looking at the role of rural women and the youth in agroecology. As we all believe that the rural women do believe that agriculture is the source of livelihood to feed their families and the majority of the people, we do depend on this system of producing food to raise our income, to create jobs, and also, most importantly, is the seed and food sovereignty, not leaving out the nutrition values. So within agroecology, it is the role of the rural women who are most importantly doing all the necessary work, despite being labor intensive. We also take in consideration our young people who are also, in most cases, most of the time, they are working closely with their mothers. We know agroecology is at the heart of family food. And also, we take note of the importance of the seeds, especially our local seed system, which have been used for centuries. And as you can see, if you look at the picture, you see that these are women, rural women and young people. And some of these women are the seed custodians, which always determine which seeds do we really want to plant. And also they are the people who also produce, save, and preserve the local seeds, as well as sharing and exchanging. Can we go to another slide, please? as I was just talking about these women to have the moment of sharing, exchanging seeds, you can also see in the picture that they are preparing for the seed fair, which is going to take place. And this also is done every year. Every year, it's a process where the rural women come together after harvesting their agroecologically produced healthy seeds. They bring them together, we do some competition, and also get some presents, some prizes for the best winners. We can move on. There's no way we can talk about agroecology farming practices without taking note of how we take care of the environment, how we take care of the soils, and also how we capture the water. Because especially in our area, in Zimbabwe, we are in region 4, which is one of the driest regions. So we do quite a lot of water harvest techniques. As you can see here, we have the youth who is really introducing how we make these water harvest techniques in all our farms. We have visitors who came to learn more about agroecology farming practices, which is mostly happening in some areas in Zimbabwe, especially with the members of Zimbabwe Smallholder Organic Farmers Forum. We are always into these agroecology farming practices. And water harvesting is one of the thematic areas which we focus, especially in managing the land, preserving the little rainfall we receive. As you can see here, we have a young person introduced the visitors who came to learn more about agroecology farming systems. You also note that the women are also mostly involved in the production of a household food systems, and also they can raise income through production of a diversity of commodities which are being produced agroecologically. We know land has been grabbed, and some have lost their lands, especially the indigenous people, smallholders and peasant farmers, especially here in the global south. And with this climate change, we have noted that it is very important for us to see how best we can adapt the climate crisis. Although we know that these corporate companies, which are bringing a hybrid seeds in our countries, we really try to make sure that we do also advocate for policies that really promotes and protects our indigenous seeds, which is very critical if we really want agroecology to be successful. So in this regard, we can note that agroecology is labor intensive. So there's no way we can do agroecology farming practices without the youth. We can move on to the other slide. Can we move on to the another slide, please? Can you hear me? Hello? Yes. As you can see, those are some of the young boys who are also helping us to work on our land, especially when we are doing a water harvesting. They are also able to dig the pits because this is really a hard work for the women to do this. So in this regard, we make use of our young people Here you can see it was more than 100 participants who also came to learn more about our work at the Shashi Agroecology School, where we are also showcasing how we do agroecology and also what type of seeds we do really put more emphasis on. So this was also a piece of land where I also grew some senior millet, and it was at its early stage, but most importantly, they were also very much impressed by the water harvesting techniques where we have earth dams, which capture a little bit of water. If it comes heavily, then these dams are filled with water. During dry season, we make use of the water which we have captured. And I've also managed to revive what we call, where I'm growing some rice in this dry area. Our area is very dry, but I've also managed to produce some rice, making use of the agroecological practices, which we have also learned from other people, especially with Lavia Capacina, which I have been also coordinating for the past 8 years, and now I'm the former general coordinator. But also, this is very important that the agroecology schools for Lavia Capacina, they've done quite a lot of building the capacity of rural women and the young people. And we are really happy to continue these learnings. You can hear that this is an agroecology school, but it is a school without walls, where farmers come from different parts of the country outside Zimbabwe to come and learn. We can also go to Mozambique. There's also another agroecology school where we also go and learn and share our experiences. We can go to Senegal. There's an agroecology school where we also go and share. And this is how the rural women and the youth are cascading the work of agroecology. And there's no way we can manage without involvement of the young people. As of now, we know very well how technology is really putting more emphasis on the youth, the work of the youth. When we talk of marketing, the youth are also there to support technically. I'm 70 years old, and it's very rare for me to check on the internet on how we can sell our products. So it's the role of the youth who are also knowledgeable of how to use these techniques. And when it comes to attend conferences, we also give the opportunities to our young people so that they can go and attend meetings, take notes, and come back and share with us, and we move forward. So the role of the youth is very, very important in agroecology farming practices. Although we know very well, they also want to hear more information from the elders. So the rural women have also a big role in educating the young people on how the food has been produced for some decades. And also the youth will take over from there, going also to implement. We have young people who also own their pieces of land. And these are also best practitioners who are also producing the food agroecologically, because we don't want the youth just to be people who can talk, who can do ICT work, but we also want the young people to produce for themselves for marketing, so that the burden is not just left for the parents. It is the role of the young people also to do this practical work. We can move ahead and maybe I'll be finishing my presentation in a few minutes time. Yes, as you can see in this, that's the picture. It was during one of the field visits. And this is one of my best farms where I produced sorghum, which does very well, particularly in this region 4. And why it is important to have a diversity of food crops. In agroecology, we have learned that you cannot just depend on one crop, but we really want to have a diversity of food crops. As you already saw in some of the pictures, there was finger millet, we have sunflower, we have sorghum, groundnuts, bambara nuts, cowpeas. This shows that in agroecology, one has to be in control of the type of seed which one wants to produce and the type of food one wants to consume, rather than being tasked or told that you should grow this hybrid seed, maybe Syngenta 207, because it does very well, it germinates quickly and it also grows quickly, which is not the case. Here we are talking of food sovereignty. We are talking of seed sovereignty. We are also talking of controlling of what type of food we really want to consume, and also in control of the seed itself, so that everything is in the hands of the food producer, not being in the hands of very few people who have the we just want to make some gains, taking control everything. We can talk of land, seeds, water, and these are big corporate companies which we are really trying to get rid of and concentrating more on our agroecology farming system, which also takes much care of the environment, of the mother earth, because we make use of what is surrounding us. We don't necessarily think of going to buy fertilizers, herbicides, but with agroecology, we know very well how we can also make use of our natural resources, especially when treating our produce from the farms. We have a diversity of species, tree species, which we can also use. We can burn, we can use the ashes to treat our produce. So this is all the knowledge which we share among us, the rural women who are the most food producers, and the young people who are also very useful and helpful to our food production system, which is agroecology. I know it is very important that we also do advocacy for policies that really promotes and protects agroecology. And I'm happy to tell you that here in Zimbabwe, we are already in the process of engaging with other like-minded organizations who are also working closely with the government, who are also policy makers, so that the policy will be considered and will be home and safe and free to produce without any restrictions, without fear. So in these few words, I really want to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to present the role of rural women and the young people in agroecology. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me the time and listening to me. Thank you.